Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Crypto Crap. Today's particular shitcoin of choice is going to be Bitcoin Private and why I think it's an absolutely terrible investment. So let's get right into it. So if you weren't following very hard in the last 5 to 6 months, you may have missed the news on Bitcoin Private. It was supposed to be a fork merge of Z Classic and Bitcoin, or the BTC code base, which it effectively was. And they were going to introduce a privacy protocol to the Bitcoin blockchain, namely ZK Snarks, which was formulated by the Zcash company under Zuko Wilcox. And this is something that a lot of people had called for a long time, to have some sort of a code implementation by Bitcoin to help increase the privacy of the blockchain. And many people got very enthusiastic about the project. Last year, around November, December, there was a lot of hype around the Bitcoin forks for the reasons that Bitcoin Cash was pumping very hard. Bitcoin Gold had some promise among some people in the community as another GPU, GPU mined coin. But as time's gone on and the sort of markets have been able to set the prices on those things, a lot of the Bitcoin forks that were supposed to sort of be different and add some unique value proposition to cryptocurrency have really failed or just died completely. With the exception of Bitcoin Cash, which I actually am a fan of, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm and vision that they have behind the project. Most of them just kind of suck, to be honest. Bitcoin Gold is okay, but again, it's just, other than being a GPU mined Bitcoin, it just doesn't really have much utility. And with coins like Monero out there, which you can mine on your GPU, I just don't really see the utility of it. But we're not going to talk about the other forks. We're talking about Bitcoin Private. The reason why I would never invest or consider touching Bitcoin Private is just ask yourself the motivation behind why it started. As much as I appreciate the vision of a private cryptocurrency, it already exists. We already have Zcash, we already have Monero, we already have other ones that I'm not really a fan of, like Verge. And whenever a coin comes into the space, or a token that's supposed to be offering that sort of privacy angle, ask yourself why. You know, Zcoin is great, Zcash is great, Monero is great. And again, it's not up to me to be the arbiter of what coins are good and what coins are bad. But what's the motivation? You know, with Zcash, we have ZK Snarks, which is a privacy by choice protocol. With Monero, we have ring signatures, which is their main feature of their privacy, which is privacy by default. And a lot of people don't like Zcash because of the founder's reward that's in the code. And that was what Z Classic originally was. It was just a code port of Zcash without the founder's reward. And on that angle, I just don't really see the point, not the point rather, but what's the problem with the founder's reward? I understand that it sort of leads to centralization, but the company that governs Zcash, it's more of a DAO than actually like an organization or a company, in that they're not officially a DAO, but they just oversee the development of the ecosystem and the adoption of the currency onto various trading platforms and businesses. This has a lot of benefits in that the funding for the team, they don't have to rely on venture funding or funding by members of the community, which is fine. That's what Monero does. But that can be good and bad in that when times get rough, you may completely run out of funding from the community with them not making much money in a bear market. And also, I just don't see a problem with, you know, being rewarded for what you did. Zuko Wilcox developed ZK Snarks, and zero-knowledge cryptography is a very difficult field to code in. And having a public ledger that can be verified without revealing the underlying data of it that's amazing. Enigma's working on a similar protocol that can be adopted by other like tokens or cryptocurrencies, and Zcash was really the first to do that on the whole. So with Bitcoin Private, what you had was a fork of Zcash, which is a code port of Bitcoin, and then they fork merged the fork from Zcash with Bitcoin, even though Zcash is a code port of Bitcoin, into Bitcoin Private. Now, what was the point? They wanted to have branding of the Bitcoin name, and I appreciate the passion of the community, but there really wasn't a reason for it, and we've seen that. The team's been a little sketchy, especially Rhett Creighton, who was the sort of founder, lead developer of the project until he got sort of kicked off for developing another fork, Bitcoin Prime. And in the end, we're really just seeing the market sort of play it out. They're not getting the exchange listings that they were hoping for. They don't have a lot of liquidity. They're getting backing by people that I don't particularly like John McAfee, who I guarantee you he's not doing this out of altruism. He very likely has a big stake in Bitcoin Private. And a few months back, when they asked if he could get them listed onto Binance, he said, no, I'll do something better. I'm not sure what that something better was, but it hasn't happened yet. And that ties into my further point about cryptocurrencies, in that when you're evaluating a project, ask yourself what's the utility, the use case, and the vision of said project. It's really easy for an ICO or a project to get lots of hype or support from any community in which they foster. But in the long term, in the 5-year plans, in the 10-year plans, if they're trying to sound like a Soviet or something, what's their vision? Zcash is going to be, or they're trying to be, a privacy cryptocurrency that has more of a mainstream adoption from regulators, from businesses. You could have financial payments from Microsoft to Apple, and Apple to various companies that they work with without having to reveal the financial data that they're sending, which is a big plus. Monero, you have a completely untraceable cryptocurrency peer-to-peer, which is great for people in the developing world who may want to receive funding, donation money. It's also used a lot on the black market and by criminals, but you can't escape that, and that's something that's often over-exaggerated, and that's always kind of something that people talk about whenever new technologies start to get adoption, like the internet. I didn't prepare too many notes on this video, I kind of just did it on the spot, but to summarize my points, just be very careful with a lot of the coins/tokens that emerged 2017, 2018. They were often created by opportunists or the sort of serial entrepreneurs who were driven to the space to make a quick buck. I don't think Bitcoin Private did that, as they didn't really have any ICO and they were pretty transparent about their funding process. But just overall, I'm not really a fan of the project in light of what we have with Zcash, Monero, and in the long-term success of it, I just don't see it. Be careful with what you invest in the future, guys. 2017 was a wild time, and it attracted a lot of attention to the space. As time moves on and most of the projects that came during that time die off and new projects emerge, keep an eye to the market, invest wisely, and always ask yourself what was the motivation for that project to be there in the first place. Have a nice night. Cheers. And before this video starts, I was trying to use the random comment picker on YouTube to do this, but for some reason it wasn't loading my video. So I'm just going to do my Oyster Pearl giveaway the old-fashioned way. I have all the comments that did follow the correct steps here in the bowl. I can show you just, this isn't the official draw, but the names like Chris Benedict, we got Constantine, we got, that was like L4W, we got Brad K right there. So I'm gonna do the draw now. So whoever wins this draw, I'm actually not gonna send Oyster Pearl. The Ethereum networks had some crazy transaction fees lately, and I actually did a test run where I sent myself a couple hundred pearls from one of my ERC20 wallets to another. And I've been waiting like 7 hours now and I still haven't received it. And from what I've heard, the fees on the network have gotten quite high. So what I've instead chosen to do is I'm going to send you some Litecoin. So once the winner is revealed of this draw, just send me your Litecoin address instead. That can be to any exchange or wallet you prefer. And if you want to get the 100 pearls, I'm going to be sending the equivalent of that in Litecoin. So if you want the pearls, just send it to KuCoin, trade your Litecoin for Bitcoin, and then get your pearls. I just don't want to send the pearls because, like I said, right now the Ethereum network is pretty clogged and something's going on. So I'll send you some Litecoin. I promise next time to use the comment picker. This seems hella retro and not very tech savvy, but it works. All right, and with that being said, the winner of the 100 pearls equivalent in Litecoin is... No, look away. RJ Rivera. RJ, congratulations. I will be contacting you on YouTube. Again, I apologize about the not being able to send the pearls. I want to make sure that you actually get the rewards from the draw. So just post or send me your Litecoin address and I'll send you the Litecoin right away.